restaurant business, to me means that they used to take canaries into the mines, coal mines, and when the birds stopped singing, that was unsafe for the workers to be put in there. For myself, I feel that I spent 40 years working in the industry, and now I'm coming out to die. My name is Heather Crowe. I'm 57 years old, and I'm dying of lung cancer from secondhand smoke. I found that the restaurant industry was a good place for me to be because the hours were available, and I was a single parent, so I could put my family life together as well as my work schedule. In a very busy restaurant or pub, and the smoke in the actual restaurant or bar was generally, the air was blue. That it's a smoker's tumor was in my lung. I've never smoked a day in my life. I've been exposed for 40 years to secondhand smoke from the restaurant industry.
That's a beat off the girls, right?
That's right.
We are here to celebrate the birthday of Heather Crowe, who is with us today. And Heather's 61 today, and we think that's a great achievement.
Happy birthday, dear Heather. Happy birthday to you.
Heather Crowe came to see Cynthia Callard and I in the summer of 2002 and said that she wanted to help. She had lung cancer, yet she wanted to help others, and help she has. Here we are 4 years later. When we started our work with Heather in 2002, barely 5% of Canadians lived in jurisdictions where there was protection from secondhand smoke in the workplace and public places. With the new laws in Ontario and Quebec, and later this year in Nova Scotia, Heather's home province, by the end of this year, 80% of Canadians will live in such jurisdictions. That phenomenal change in just a few years is due mostly to the efforts of Heather Crowe.
Halifax area was really dense, but we used to go play in the woods all the time and make forts and stuff like that. So that didn't scare us. It was not a part of we had no fear, you know. And so my mother told us that it's not the animals you have to be afraid of, it's the people, you know. So she was Native, and they would have taken the children, all of them, away as soon as they were 4 years old. They had no rights to bring them up, and they wanted to eliminate the culture totally. She married a white man, and by doing so, that gave us the protection. I left when I was 17, and I came up here to work, and I landed in, I guess it was 1962, in Toronto, and there was no more than 4 stories high in Halifax at that time. So you can imagine, here I'm coming, and I was just blown away. I was amazed by the size of the train station and everything. But I found that my first day out in Toronto, I had a job, and then they came to me and said, "Can you do a banquet?" I said, "What's a banquet?" And they said, "Well, come with us and we'll show you." So after that, they were always after me to do banquets. So I work all day and then do a banquet at night for 2 hours or so. I looked at things that I wanted to do, and nobody had ever told me I can't be a good single parent, or I can't buy my own house and whatever. So I did just that, you know. And, if I didn't make $20 that day, or if I only made $20, it was at least $20 more than I had when I went to work that morning. So that's the way I looked at things, you know. I still had a chance to earn a decent living because all I had to do was try a little harder. It was like writing my own paycheck. And Mo gave me the tables to do that, and all I had to do was work them to my advantage, which was to take care of my customers. And you really look after your customers, and you think them as, you know, it's an honor to serve them.
In the summertime, we always have problems to find staff, lots of holidays, people they go away. And she came to me and she said to me, Mo, I wonder how you're doing with the holidays. In my heart, I'm thinking, I hope to God she's not gonna ask for some holidays now because I'm stuck, I'm short-staffed. And I couldn't say no to her because she never really put me on a spot where she asked for something if I'm stuck. So I said to her, why, Heather? She said to me, because I just came back from the doctor and he told me that I have cancer and I don't want to leave you stuck. I couldn't believe my ears when she said that. She was worried about me, how I'll be stuck with my staff. She was not so much concerned about her having the cancer. But that's how Heather is.
I had a good lifestyle, and I figured my health was pretty good, and then I had a couple of lumps on the side of my neck, and I thought, it's an ear infection, a throat infection. 3 weeks went by and nothing, and then I went to the doctor and I said, what are these, you know? Took some blood work and sent me for a chest x-ray. The very next day, the chest x-ray came back and there was a tumor the size of my hand in my lung. I was blown away. I couldn't wrap my mind around it. It was like, how can I possibly have, I never smoked a day in my life. You sure it's not tuberculosis? And she told me, no, it's cancer. It's a large cancerous tumor. Well, cancer absorbs your whole life. You live for the cancer on a day-to-day basis. Your appointments, your chemo, your pills, mountains of pills. You're concerned about, you run fever and high blood pressure, and you don't know how many pills. You have a hard time with medication because the chemo gets into your brain, get all confused. It's one problem I just couldn't deal with. I have a process of dealing with problems, and there was just no formula for this one. I had to go through it, and I have to do the journey.
And I remember listening, and she said that she wanted to become an advocate. She wanted to get involved. And I thought, this woman's about to start cancer therapy. I don't really know about this. So we struck a bargain. Carol McDonald, one of our public health nurses, was with us. And I remember saying to Heather that this might be a wild horse, this advocacy piece, especially given how sick you are and the treatments you're going to need. Carol would help her with her treatments and accompanied her to her treatments. And even when Carol was away, we had someone else substitute for her. And in that way, we became very involved.
When I would pick her up, she'd be nervous, and I'd be nervous. Can I support her in the way that she needs to be supported? And of course, as you know, you don't just whip into an appointment and you're out in half an hour. Normally they take about 3 hours. Without exception, Heather and I would always end up laughing in the room, and when the doctor would come in, we'd be laughing because she just took it in her stride.
I got a phone call from a woman who said, is this Cynthia Callard? And I said, yes. And she said, I want to talk to you because I'm dying from secondhand smoke-caused cancer, and I need you to help me file a workman's compensation claim.
She came into my office and she asked that she was applying to workers' compensation, and she wanted letters signed She asked me if I would help her get letters signed by pretty much every politician, municipal, provincial, and federal within 100 miles.
Her Workers' Compensation Board claim, her successful claim, also made her a public persona instantly with national news coverage and established her credibility on this issue of secondhand smoke because it allowed her to tell anyone, any politician, any journalist, that there's no question that her lung cancer is caused by secondhand smoke.
I was in the habit of having breakfast daily at the Newport. Heather was the server there. One day, she asked me how I was, and I said fine in typical fashion. And then I asked her how she was, and it seemed that the dam just kind of burst at that point. And she explained to me that she just received the test results for herself, and that she'd been diagnosed with lung cancer. So I explained to her that we were in the process of developing a campaign on secondhand smoke.
I've been a waitress for 40 years to earn a decent living for my daughter and myself. My doctor told me I had a smoker's tumor, and therefore I'm dying. I never smoked a day in my life.
And it's been said that the stars aligned, and Heather was a star for us, and the things have kept moving, and the provinces have come on board and so forth. It's been incredible since 2002 to 2006 what Heather has probably been behind. Heather removed the barriers, and by removing the barriers, she changed the way we do our business. And that allowed the whole world to change, because it really was Heather's story that united people in understanding that this was work that had to be done.
And she has that ability to just find those very colorful, very simple images that really resonate with people.
My retirement plans, after 40 years, most people are taking their retirement check and downsizing in their homes and planning a nice retirement. With me, after 40 years, I have to retire due to the fact that I have lung cancer from secondhand smoke, and I'm planning my funeral, and I'm downsizing into an urn. And I looked at the legislation, the protection for us, the worker, in the hotel restaurant industry. There's absolutely no provisions for us. We seem to be the invisible worker, or are we the disposable worker?
When Heather and I began our visits across Canada to visit labor ministers, health ministers, municipal politicians, and community groups all across the country, we weren't sure what was going to turn out. But we knew one of our very early visits was going to be a major test. One of our very first visits was to Iqaluit in Nunavut territory.
Hi, nice to meet you. Very nice to be here. Thank you for your time on this very important subject.
Jack Anawak.
Very nice to meet you.
Jack, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Welcome to Nunavut.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm very pleased to be here. Nice to meet you.
Rebecca is a mother and a member of the Legislative Assembly. She represents the highest Arctic communities in Nunavut, the farthest north communities.
That's great.
So you come to talk to us about we should not be smoking.
Hoping to get some changes legislated.
Good.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting us. It's been a very nice trip up this way, and my first time. And I'd like to share my story with you. I've been a waitress for 40 years in the hotel restaurant industry. And in March of 2002, I was diagnosed with lung cancer. I've never smoked a day in my life. And through the 40 years of exposure, I've received the lung cancer. There was absolutely no symptoms of this disease, and I'm a third stage lung cancer, so it's very advanced. My mother was Mi'kmaq Indian, so as I look upon that as myself being an elder, and therefore I also look towards our children, our future,
and that we need to bring this forward to protect them.
You guys aren't elders yet.
I'm a Micmac, yes.
Heather is.
I have a white face but a red heart. Mona, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. And this young man? Robbie, nice to meet you, Robbie. Thank you for coming. Thanks for your time, eh? It's important to me. And make sure you guys don't smoke, or at least if you do, to have some information.
Trying to quit. Yeah. We've got lots who are trying to quit. So, yeah.
That's good. That's a beginning.
Yeah. Can I say hi?
There was absolutely no, when I got sick, there was absolutely no doubt that I would do this, that I had to make a public awareness, that I had to be speaking to people that I worked with. People that I spoke to didn't know that secondhand smoke kills. They weren't aware of it. So therefore, I had to get the message out across Canada and to get the politicians to change the labor laws and to amend legislation. And this is why I'm out, trying to do the best. If I don't try, we'll never know.
On the right-hand side.
Okay, thank you.
And the door's solid. You can hold on to that.
As a result of Heather's visit, the very first provincial or territorial jurisdictions to go smoke-free in Canada were in fact Nunavut and the Northwest Territories.
Yes, I still want to be public. And the reason is because I just feel so strong about this, that people need to know, people need to watch, people need to be aware. And it's not fair for the non-smoker who has to pick up all the slack.
And the kids that we've seen at the schools, you know, when Heather speaks, you can hear a pin drop. And that's a real gift, because the kids also recognize that Heather tells the truth.
I don't want to stand behind the kids, and I don't want to stand in front of them giving them instructions. But I'll stand beside them and see what they can do.
Today, in representation of our commitment and passion to expose the truth about tobacco, we have made close to 1,000 paper cranes to thank you, Heather, for inspiring us every day to fight to the finish. It is our hope that all of the desires in your heart come true. We are your ambassadors.
So this is the actual ribbon with your initials on the bottom.
Okay.
And our goal is to sell 47,000 of these ribbons.
We will.
All the way across the province. There'll be students all across Ontario buying ribbons to support everything that you've done, and thank you for everything you've done for us. So this is going to go in a little promotional package to students across the province to put up, so that everybody will know what's going on with the campaign. These are the hands of youth.
Okay.
Supporting, like reaching for the ribbons to support. And the bird is so that we carry your message of hope across the province.
Right. Wow. Message of hope, right on.
sure the message is because of that. The message is valuable, but because she's also an outstanding person, and people don't feel threatened by her, but they understand what she's talking about.
But what's really remarkable is that Heather was better at this business, she was better at advocacy, and she was better at public health than any of us. And that's what we've witnessed over the past 4 years.
Perhaps, I know, perhaps someone else could have come into our lives as we're all kind of ready for this story. I think the chance of someone else who would have been able to do it is severely slim. I don't think there are many, there are about 1,000 people a year, I'm told, from the statistics, who suffer Heather's fate. I don't think there's 1 in a million people that are like Heather that would have been able to take that and do something with it.
This has been a labor of love. Everybody was there as soon as I was wanting to do something, you know, to make a difference. It's still not over yet, and as they say, until a fat woman sings, but I'm getting skinnier all the time. Thank God. Thank you for coming, and enjoy, and I hope you have a good time tonight. Definitely, one person can make a difference. Definitely. You have to stand up and believe in what you believe in and deliver, no matter what they tell you. So this is the way why I went that way.